guys, welcome to another lecture in the series of lectures on the namesake. We're going to be reading ahead um, in this one. Um, we've already kind of completed chapter 1. We also had a discussion, sort of. And so we're going to continue reading ahead with chapter 2. The baby, a boy, is born at 5 past 5 in the morning. He measures 20 inches long, weighs 7 pounds 9 ounces. Ashima's initial glimpse before the cord is clipped and they carry him away is of a creature coated with a thick white paste and streaks of blood. Her blood on the shoulders, feet, and head. A needle placed in the small of her back has removed all sensation from her waist to her knees and given her a blistering headache in the final stages of delivery. When it is all over, she begins to shiver profoundly, as if beset with an acute fever. For half an hour she trembles in a daze, covered by a blanket, her insides empty, her outside still misshapen. She is unable to speak, to allow the nurses to help exchange her blood-soaked gown for a fresh one. In spite of endless glasses of water, her throat is parched. She is told to sit on a toilet to squirt warm water from a bottle between her legs. Eventually, she is sponged clean, put into a new gown, wheeled into yet another room. The lights are soothingly dim, and there is only one other bed next to hers, empty for the time being. When Ashok arrives, Patty is taking Ashima's blood pressure, and Ashima is reclining against a pile of pillows, the child wrapped like an oblong white parcel in her arms. Beside the bed is a bassinet, labeled with a card that says Baby Boy Ganguly. Now, with this paragraph, we're getting a lot of insight into not just obviously what happens after a child is delivered, but also because perhaps Jhampa Lahari had already had kids by then. How or what goes into the mind of a typical South Asian mother when she's just given birth to a child? The visuals that she sees, the feelings that she feels, all of that stuff, right? Like, for example, Ashima's initial glimpse before the cord is clipped and they carry him away is of a creature coated with a thick white paste and streaks of blood, her blood on the shoulders, feet, and head. There's a lot of depth in this sentence, right? Especially about the part that, when she looks at the baby and the baby's covered in blood and thick white paste and whatever, her instinct is not just, okay, gross, this is blood, and this child is covered in blood and whatever, but it's also that this is my blood that the child is covered in. I'm not saying that makes blood any less gross, because of course on certain levels, certain people may find that visual disturbing. Maybe like, okay, that's gross. But from that mother's perspective, who's just given birth to a child, that blood is not gross. It's like, okay, this little life, this little creature, and it's covered in my blood. The thought of having lost so much blood is not there anymore all of a sudden. So when we talk about the motherly instinct, that's perhaps the motherly instinct, right? That the thought of having lost so much blood, because all the blood that even the child is covered in is Ashima's blood at the end of the day. That thought is not there. the thought that's there is, this creature is covered in my blood, has been made inside me, has developed inside me, and right now, when this creature has come to life, like in the outside world, it's covered in my blood. Which speaks volumes about motherly insight, right? Because in the beginning, in the initial lectures, when we read one of that criticism that spoke about, especially with regards to this craft by Lahiri, the namesake, where you got to leave yourself loose into the characters and let yourself be consumed by them. Then, with regards to particularly this scene, you are also supposed to let yourself be consumed into this emotion, right? Of all of a sudden seeing this creature that you have brought to life. It's covered in blood, but that's your blood, and it's like, okay, like, this thing came from me. It's my contribution to the world in the form of a life. Then, of course, the process has been described of what happens after a child has been delivered, the epidural needle, even describing the effect of that in detail, that a needle is placed in the small of her back that has removed all sensation from her waist to her knees, and has given her blistering headache in the final stages of the delivery. Also, that when it is all over, when she's delivered, the epidural needle is out, all of that stuff. She's shivering. There's almost an acute fever. Then focus on this phrase: her inside's empty, her outside still mishappen. Because now the child is not there anymore, right? In her tummy or stomach or whatever you would want to call it. But all of a sudden, the tummy doesn't lie flat. So it's like, perhaps Lahiri is trying to explain how weird that feeling is. That, okay, now the child is out, but like, despite that the child is out, the tummy hasn't all of a sudden fallen flat like a balloon. And those are very deep insights about the whole experience that Lahiri has expressed so profoundly, without making anything being gory in any sense. Then obviously other smaller things that one feels right after labor, right? Like, say, the throat being parched, being told to sit on a toilet to squirt warm water, because you gotta clean up, all of that stuff. Then obviously, because a mother has just given birth to a child, you need somebody else to, like, clean you up with a sponge. Can't take a shower all of a sudden because the body is not really, what can I say? The body's temperature is not really like okay-ish at the moment. And the last line of this paragraph: beside the bed is a bassinet labeled with a card that says "Baby Boy Ganguly." Because all of a sudden, in that family, there is an addition. And in the text, in the printed version of the text that at least I have, the font for Baby Boy Ganguly is different. because the name of this child will also happen to be one of those things in the story that will shed light on a lot of other issues when it comes to or with regards to um, identity crisis, so on and so forth. And then obviously that name will this name will go away. The child won't be named baby boy Ganguly, but even what he will be named, he would want to go on to change that. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope that as yet it's all comprehensive, if not very interesting. If you guys like the video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, as well as subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to stay updated for whenever a new video drops in.